Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today in this classic review, we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Dragonfly, and yes, this thing's beauty. This is a beautiful, beautiful toy. This is not my original. You can see there's no stickers on it. As a matter of fact, when I was able to get it, I got it, man, a few years ago, and I was actually happy to not have stickers on it. Although now I feel like I need to maybe order some stickers to put them on where it needs to go. So anyway, I did do a review on the Hasbro Dragonfly where I did compare them. But we're going to take a look at this one, look at the detail. It does still work. I'm trying to move my face back so I don't get smashed in the face. Either way, this is one of those ones that I know almost every single kid absolutely loved. We're going to take a look at the detail, see what was put into it, see if there's maybe things we didn't see before, because again, we were kids playing with it, and that's the way toys were meant to be. So we're going to make sure we fix that the pilot sits in the back and the gunner sits up in the front. But I think most of us realize that's exactly how it is. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this, break it down, look at the detail. I don't think it's going to really take all that long. But I know, hey, you know what? I know people love that vehicle. Hence, the Dragonfly HasLab did so well. But I'd love to hear you guys if you have some stories. Maybe that was the only vehicle that you wanted. Maybe your dad, your uncle, your grandfather was a helicopter pilot, and you just he flew that thing, right? Or flew a similar one, or whatever, right? Please tell me some stories if you have any. But enough of this. Let's get to this. But before we do, please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop one of these classic reviews. And that is Roman whimpering to get out of the room. Alright, so here it is. And I do apologize, I do not have stickers on this, so I don't remember exactly how all the stickers went. So I may take away from some of the detail that they were going for, but I'm going to look at the detail that is actually on the actual vehicle. So quickly, we'll first look here. They did put these nice little tips on here. All right, rubber tips, so your eyes wouldn't get completely blown out or get little scratches, marks, cuts. That probably would have prevented this from being as popular with parents. But even looking here, looking at the propellers, you can see exactly how it looks. They put a little bit of detail all around here. And this is stuff like I never really realized. And even down here, you can see the way that they're supposed to connect. And yes, this thing does, it does flex up and down. Eventually they start to sag. Sometimes we see them a little bit worse than others. All right. Starting from the top here, we have your engine and your engine cover. So there is an engine behind that. We'll pop that off in a bit. But you can see just the way the panels are. So if I can get this on the right way. You got your panels right here. A little bit of ventilation. I'm not really sure what that is. I always thought that was for the fuel. I still want to tend to believe that, but I could be completely wrong. Up here, I'm assuming is another cover, so you can access the propellers up here. You got your big long wings, and again, not only do you have the panels, but you can see the rivets that are supposed to be in there, because obviously you gotta keep this connected keep this connected some way. On it, we have that propeller's gonna get in the way tremendously. We have 3 different missiles. I believe this is a bomb, to be 100% honest, but we have 2 of the exact same missiles here, and it is recreated over here. So we got 2 bombs, 4 missiles. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. That might be a missile. Either way, if you know what it is, please tell me in the description. I did look at a couple things before I started doing this here. So on here, obviously this is not on any type of real helicopter, but this does still work, all right? So this was one of the play features that, this is probably one of the play features on a toy vehicle that got used more than any of the other ones, because let's be honest, if you were flying this around, if you had this, you are going to be doing this because you're able to make this spin. I mean, hell, on the Fang, we would spin it with our hands, let alone now we have something that we can just fly around. And you don't even have to do it the whole time. You can let it go for a second. But this is still, to me, one of the funnest things. I still do it. If I fly it upstairs, you better believe I'm spinning that thing. Anywhere that I take this in my house, if I'm moving in, if I'm going to do a review on it, if I want to compare it to something, I'm going to spin that. All right. So on the back, we got the engines. So we get, I believe it's supposed to be 4 engines or 4 jets here. So you're going to have 2 smaller ones, and then you're going to have the 2 larger ones. And even looking at it, there's detail going all the way down. I'm going to try and bring this up here. There's no easy way to do any of this to get it to aim at a cell phone camera. Well, here we go. Now it's right in my face here. But you can see there's just a little bit of detail all the way down there. So they take everything into consideration here. All right. Looking here at the tail, you got 2 different wings. So you got the longer wing here, and then you got the shorter wing. And then on the back, we have this split fin. And what I do believe is, I think that's a radar of some sort. I could be completely wrong. If you know what it is, please tell me. And this is the gyro. All right, now I never realized this until the classified version came out, and they were talking about this. This is the gyro because there is no rear, propeller. So, in actuality, if you didn't have something to counter it, this was going to spin. Now, the original vehicle that this is based off of doesn't have this. It has the actual rear propeller. Now, my guess is just for copyright reasons and to make it their own, they put this on here. Now, this is a real thing that some helicopters do use. This one does not. All right. Looking here at the front, we have a mounted gun right here that's going to shoot straight ahead, and then you have your nose, right? And it is rubber because once again, it's going to smash into things, and they probably didn't want it scratching doors, walls, being broke, hitting kids. They looked at a lot of that stuff. Here on the bottom is the minigun, along with what I believe is the actual laser that guides it. All right. Now there are 2 different versions of this gun. My original one, it was just static, and so I thought when I got this that when I bought it that someone put the new version on it. Well, I was completely wrong. They made 2 different versions. And as you can see, this kind of goes up and down. This one makes way more sense. I wish I would have had this one as a kid. But looking at it, you can see it's a little Gatling gun. The rear one has, I believe, a 3-port burst. It's like a triangle. And I believe, again, this is to guide the missiles and everything that go along with it. All right. And if you pop this off, the feet are going to hang out. All right. Looking at the bottom, we have the... I'm not going to pull this all the way down, but you do have your repelling hook. You're able to pick up figures, characters. You're able to pick up motorcycles. You're able to pick up whatever you can lift as a kid, right? I'll pop that thing right back on there. And then it does spin to release back up. And it goes down fairly far, all right? You got a big cylinder, so it does come up fairly easily. All right, over on this side, this is a laser guided cannon. We can pop this off quickly. So I always thought this was a laser gun. It says it's a laser guided cannon. I always thought that was just like the conduit, the wire, where it's actually coming through so it could actually fire. This thing is actually pretty beat up, which the rest of it isn't, so I'm kind of surprised that is. But here we're looking at this. You know, we got these little rivets here that are going to hold the cylinder piece on here. Maybe that's where they put the ammunition. It has this little bar that's going to connect down here. All right. And then here we got 2 foot pegs so we can put figures on there. All right. And even there you can see that there's detail to give it a little bit of texture so the characters wouldn't just slip right off. Now this was something that I never knew about, and unfortunately I do not have it. But if you have dock stretcher, it is meant to go across here. So you remove this, it goes across here, and then it's supposed to peg in right there. And then you can carry a character, a figure, out of harm's way if he's been hurt in battle. All right, we're gonna throw this thing back on here, maybe. Now this is easy when you have a camera in front of you and you're trying to look at the actual vehicle doing it and keep it in focus. All right, so as for the missiles here, they pop off. They are dog boned. All right, nice looking ones. It's got these little fins on the front and the back. Not pointy. I do think these look really good. I wish they would have given something like this with the HasLab. I understand the rocket port they have. I think it looks good, but I like these rockets better. And then you have, like I said, what I said I think is the bomb. All right. Now it is open on the. I've never understood why it was open like this. It clearly has something to do with when it's casting. I hate the way that it looks, but I believe this is just a bomb that's just supposed to drop straight down. All right. It's got the same little fins here. It's got one here. The dog bone that goes through it. What doesn't make any sense is if it did drop, it's going to smash right into this. So, but I always had them on the inside because personally, I absolutely hated this. I hate the look of that. I wish it would have had, 6 of these. Technically, I could, I'm sure I could come up with 6 of them. Or I could 3D print one of these if I really wanted to. All right. So, I talked about the engine cover. So, the engine cover opens up on both sides. Now, it is the same. So, we're just going to open up one side. And you have to be very careful. This is this hard plastic. And if you have this and you're popping this on and off, eventually these tabs are going to break, all right? But you just put a little bit of pressure, the thing will pop right off. So this was one of the things that G.I. Joe absolutely loved doing, is they have engine covers. And looking at it here, you have the big engine here, obviously going right up to here. Down here, I don't know if that's supposed to be exhaust, or maybe that's for cruise control or for cruising, not cruise control, but for cruising speeds. But you just get a lot of detail here. This here, I believe, is supposed to be actually closer up here, so it's actually spinning. But again, it is a toy. There's only so much you can do. But if you're playing around, I'm assuming this is what's supposed to be gyrating the actual propellers. But looking at this, they've just given a lot of nice detail. And this gives you hours upon hours of fun just playing with your figures, right? Playing with your toys the way that it's supposed to be, right? As for the canopy does open up and it does stay up if need be. You're looking in here, you have 2 seats, and they even made a couple little spots for their legs so they fit right in there. And like I mentioned, if you pop this off, their feet are going to hang out there, so try not to lose that gun. I don't remember, again, if there's any. I believe there's a cluster gauge that sits up front there. I should have looked at the locus because it's all the same other than it says locus on it. All right. As for our figures, we have Wild Bill, and then we have Airborne. And yes, I have 2 different Airbornes. Now, in a real attack helicopter, the gunner sits up in the front. All right. Now, this was never portrayed properly. And again, we were kids. So if you're a kid, you just learn to deal with it. You don't even think about it, right? You would think that the pilot is supposed to be in the front. But in actuality, the pilot also wouldn't be wearing a cowboy hat either. Technically, it's not a cowboy hat, it's a cavalry. But in actuality, He's usually going to be flying this way, but he does sit up higher. Not to mention he's going to have the helmet and everything. But he's actually looking over the gunner, I do believe. And then you have the gunner, which obviously you want in the front, so he can aim where he's going to be firing. But as you know, this guy was always considered, everyone always seemed to go with this. He always went with this and the Sky Striker. But for all intents and purposes, he works really good with this, because then you can also have him rappelling down the rope if need be. So that's pretty much it. The other thing is, this thing spins one way. If you try and go the other way, the propeller, it stops. You don't want to go backwards or it will break. I believe I've had somebody that may be a moderator on my channel that has talked about what his dad did to his. So anyway, there you go. That is the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero Dragonfly review. All right, so there you have it. That is the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero classic review of the Dragonfly. Again, this thing, I don't know what else you could say. I don't think as kids we had the ability to enjoy this for what it actually is, as there's so much detail that was put into it. The engine covers, the missiles, the bombs, again, the gun in the front, and everything that, you know, that we could do with it and play around with it. Again, I love this. I know they did a Locust later on, and it's just not the same, even though it's the exact same mold, a different color and a different name. But anyway, maybe eventually we'll get to that. I hope that I'm able to finally get to that, but that is a far, far, far ways away, because I have so much vintage G.I. Joe stuff to get to. But anyway, here we go. That is the last look of it. Please tell me in the comments, did you have this? Did you trade for it? Did you think that this was way better than anything that the Cobra, that Cobra had? I want to hear your stories, because that's what this is. Going back in time, looking at the things we missed as kids. So anyway, I am going to get out of here. Thank you very much for watching. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop another classic review. And while you're at it, I know you're like, how the hell can you do this, but you didn't review Wild Bill? Well, I did. He'll be right up here, and down here will be a playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.